continue. So what I'm trying to help you to understand is, okay, let me show you how a creditor's reconciliation statement looks like. It looks like this. Do you see this?
Yes, yeah, exactly like that.
That's how you guys do it even at your school, right?
Yes.
So you notice that there are two columns in your creditor's reconciliation statement. The one column, it's showing you adjustments you are doing to your ledger. And then the other column, creditor's reconciliation, it's basically showing you the adjustment you are doing to the creditor's statement or to the account statement from the creditor. So anything that has to do with the errors that have been made on the creditor's statement, it comes here. Are you understanding me?
Yes.
And anything that has to do with errors or omissions on the creditor's ledger, which is according to our records, it comes here. So I'm going to take you also through this example from here so that you understand, Ukoti, what's going on. Is it fine?
Yes.
All right. So now let me switch back to your exercise from your textbook. So look at this. So that invoice number 154, is it going to affect the creditor's ledger column or the creditor's reconciliation column?
The reconciliation.
Exactly. That's where it's supposed to go. But remember, they said it was recorded incorrectly on the statement, meaning to say you need the creditor's ledger now to be able to know what was the correct amount that was supposed to be recorded. So how do we do that? We then have to compare, right? We then have to compare what is on the ledger. Look at this, 3915. And then notice here, the statement is saying, no, it's supposed to be 4365. So my question to you comes now, is this an overstatement or an understatement in the account statement or statement of account of the credit?
Overstatement.
It's an overstatement. So when we go to the reconciliation, we are supposed to add or minus the difference, obviously.
Subtract.
We're supposed to subtract. What are we subtracting? The overstatement.
Yes.
Do you see it, young man?
Yes.
So now it means the overstatement is basically the difference between 4,365 minus 3,915. So that difference is subtracting on the column for creditors reconciliation. Does it make sense?
Yes.
It's making sense?
Yes.
Beautiful. Let's go to the next transaction. You can read it.
The goods returned on the 8th was posted incorrectly in the creditor's ledger account.
Where is the problem happening?
We made an omission. We as the business.
Let's read it again for me.
The goods returned on the 8th was posted incorrectly in the creditor's ledger. So
Right.
we as the business made a mistake.
That's an error, not an omission. Can you see that?
Yes.
Can I give you a trick? Whenever you see them saying something was posted incorrectly, all right, or recorded incorrectly, those are errors, young man. Are we together?
Okay.
Those are errors. All the time when you see them saying something what incorrect, just know that that's an error you're dealing with. But it's important to know where the error took place so that you can know where to correct it. So in this case, the error took place where? In our ledger account, creditor's ledger account. So it means we have to correct that error in our ledger account. So that column, is it going to be the first column or a second column?
The first one.
It has to be the first one. So we now need to check, okay, what is the creditor statement saying about the amount of goods that were returned on the 8th? And what is it that we recorded on our records in the ledger, which is incorrect? So Arabella, back to the creditor statement, and we look on the 8th, there's a debit note number 43. of how much?
Of 260.
Of 260, right? Remember, we ourselves as the business, when we are returning goods that we are not satisfied with, we issue a debit note, and the creditor would issue a credit note. Are we together, young men?
Yes.
So there's a credit note which the supplier issued here to us of the same value. Can you see it?
Yes.
Now, if you look on our creditors ledger, there is a mistake that we did. The amount is correct, but then instead of subtracting it here, we added it because I want you to look at the balance before we took into account the debit note. The balance was 22,625. But after we incorrectly factored into account that debit note number 43 of 260, the balance increased to 22,885. So do you see that this was an error? Instead of us adding, we were supposed to be subtracting. So what do we do when we go to the creditors reconciliation statement? Are we adding or are we subtracting?
Subtracting.
We're simply going to be subtracting there. Does it make sense?
Yes.
All right. So are we subtracting it once or twice?
Twice, because you still have to remove it and to put it on the other side.
Exactly. So it's supposed to be done twice, okay? Right. Very important. Then let's go to the other transaction. You can read it. Number 3.
Invoice number 780 in the creditors ledger was for goods purchased from another supplier, Adobe stores.
Notice where
So
is the
I
error
think
happening there?
in the creditors ledger,
Okay.
we were supposed to do it for the Adobe stores, but we accidentally used it for Kumalo suppliers.
Correct. So what are you supposed to do? Because it was already added, this invoice number 78 array level. There it is
I
on the
think
12th. You
we're
see the
supposed
added.
to subtract.
Yeah, we're supposed to subtract it once or twice.
I'm not sure.
It's just supposed to happen once. You are just supposed to take it out. That's it.
Oh, okay.
It's supposed to happen once only. Why? Because instead of adding it, you were supposed to just have it was never supposed to have been recorded here at all in the creditors ledger for Kumalo. It was never supposed to be allocated to Kumalo because it was for another creditor. So the only thing we do is to just take it out. That's it. So we're just going to subtract
Yes.
1,250 in our creditors recon column number 1 for the creditors ledger. That's what you're supposed to do. Is it making sense?
Yes.
So was that an error or was it an omission?
An error.
That's an error. Do you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. Number 4.
Kumalo suppliers do not grant a discount for the payment on the 16th, stating the payment was too late to qualify for the discount. Credit note 112. Oh no, that's different.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. Yeah. This one is for number 5. Now what you were reading about credit number. All right. Repeat number 4 again. Kumalo suppliers did not what?
Grant a discount for the payment on the 16th, stating that the payment was too late to qualify for the discount.
Okay. No problem. So if they did not give us a discount, it means Tina on our side, we had made a mistake of paying only 6,250. But how much were we supposed to have paid?
The 6250 plus 313.
You understand? So it means the only thing that has to be accounted for here that we need to
The
add
313.
back, we have to add back that discount, okay, of 313.
Yes.
Yeah, it just has to be added to which column? Creditors, ledger column, or the other one?
The creditors ledger.
It will be the creditors ledger. So it's that 313 to be added, that discount, okay?
Yes.
So that, then number 5, what are they saying?
Credit note number 112 on the statement was an error on the statement. Goods were not returned by the business.
So who is making the mistake there?
The supplier, the statement of account.
Statement of account. So meaning to say, which column is it going to affect when you go to the creditors reconciliation statement?
The second one.
The second one, right? So what is happening? Credit note number 112 was an error, right? So let's go to it and check it out. Here it is. Credit note number 112. So what are you supposed to do with that? You're supposed to minus it or add it in the second column. Sorry?
To edit.
Yeah, we're supposed to add it back. Do you know why? Because according to the statement, they had subtracted it because they were of the assumption that we returned this good. That's why it's a reduction, or they accounted it as if we are reducing our balance. So you're simply supposed to add it back because it was an error. We never returned any goods to them, so it's supposed to be added back. Are we together?
Yes.
That's all that's supposed to happen in the record. Then number 5 is number 6, interest on overdue account.
Interest on overdue account must still be taken into account.
Okay. Let's check. Where is the interest on overdue account? Do you see that it's not here on your ledger?
Yes.
So where is it supposed to go in the
To
reconciliation?
the creditors ledger.
To the creditors ledger, right? Is it going to be a plus or a minus? It's an omission anyway, so but is it going to be a plus or minus?
It's a minus for us because we have to pay the statement of account.
Don't explain it that way, but rather say that it's a plus to the balance owing to Kumalo. So when you go to the ledger, we are supposed to add the interest, increasing our balance that we are owing to Kumalo. That's what is happening there.
Yes.
Is it making sense?
Yes.
Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So is that what you did according to the discussions you did with with your teacher?
I guess.
Don't you guys have a solution for this?
Because they separated the reconciliation statement and the wait. Oh, never mind. Sorry.
It's one thing.
Yes.
So you can have a 2-column format or a 1-column format, like, but under normal circumstances, yeah, you're supposed to have those 2 columns. Are we together?
Yes.
All right. So now I want us to go through this one now. The one I'm about to share on your screen, so that I test your knowledge. So what I want you to do, right, I want us to do this one together. Is it okay?
Yes.
Let me try to convert this thing to Word, then we continue. This thing was not for recording. Jesus. Sorry. Okay. So look at this. All right. We are looking now at that exercise, okay? I'm doing this so that it can be on the recording. I know we'd already explained about it, but I want it to be on the recording so you can have something to go back to. Is it okay?
Yes.
All right. So we are given a question where they are telling us, Mbete traders received the statement from their creditors Watson stores on the 28th of February 20.7. A comparison revealed that the balance on the statement did not agree with that on the creditor's ledger account, which is true, and it kind of makes sense because when we looked at the required section, when we looked at the required section, all right, which is the answer book section, okay? And I look at the question 2, which is what we are trying to address. We can clearly see they asked us to calculate the amount that Mbete Stores owes to Watson Stores and complete the creditors reconciliation statement. And notice we were given some balances here. One for the creditors ledger and the other one from the creditor statement, which is of course denoted as the reconciling column for the creditors of 18,810, and the one from the ledger, it's 11,275. Now, let's go back to the information. So if you look now, they give you some instructions and they say, make a comparison of the creditor's ledger and the statement from the creditor and complete the table in the answer book in order to reconcile the two balances. So here we have the statement of account from Watson Stores. Watson Stores is the creditor in this case. So they send us a statement, and from the statement that they've given to us, we see that there was an opening balance of 13,516, and then afterwards, during the month of February, there were some goods which were returned, we paid, we bought, we returned some goods, we bought, we paid. Then there were some delivery charges which were charged on us. And now at the end of the month of February, according to the creditor, they are saying we are owing them 13,810, which makes sense. Even when we do the reconciliation statement, we are supposed to start with that 13,810. I wanted to show you where is this amount coming from. Are we together, young men?
Yes.
And then, of course, we also had compiled our records accordingly, and we had drafted what we call a creditors ledger. So from our creditors ledger, we had an opening balance of 8,800. We bought and we recorded 3,240 there. Then, of course, we returned some goods. We bought some goods. We paid, obtained some discount. We paid again. We returned some goods. And then we bought again on the 28th. But now we're left with a balance of 11,275 that we are owing to the creditor according to our creditors ledger. So when I go to the answer book and then I look at the creditors reconciliation statement, I can frankly see the balance for the creditors ledger, which is 11,275. So had they not given you these balances, young men, that's where that information was going to come from. So when they say balance and they had not given you these values, that's how you're going to obtain those values, by looking at the last values under each one of these records. Are we together, buddy?
Yes.
Good. But remember, obviously, the comparison has already been done for you. How do I know that it has already been done? Because they give you some additional information. Is it making sense?
Yes.
Let's look at the additional information, which is, of course, indicated as an investigation, which revealed the following here. I want you to read the first one. What does it say?
Credit note number 112 was entered by Better Stores on 30 January 20.7.
What? Credit note number what?
112.
Was entered when? On 30 January, right?
30 January 30.
Now, what is the credit note showing? What information does it show?
Can you scroll up so I can check?
Where is it coming from?
Yeah, Better Stores.
Okay. So what are you supposed to do with it? And who is Better Stores? Let's go back. Who is Better Stores in this case? It is us,
Better
the business. Can you see that?
Yeah.
But we had already sent a debit note. Remember that. We had already sent a what? A debit note. Okay. I mean, a credit, yeah. Okay, of course, yeah. We'd already sent a debit note to them. And the only thing that is now happening is it is now reflecting on their statement. Can you see that? From Watson Stores. So for as long as that thing is reflecting on the statement, then we are okay. There's nothing that we need to adjust regarding to that. Do you know why? Because it has been reconciled already. Because on our records in the month of January, Okay, we had already accounted for this, for the credit note. Because for the credit note to be issued to us, first of all, we are supposed to have sent them a debit note. So we don't get a credit note unless a debit note was issued first. So for this one, you don't do anything with it, okay? Does it make
Yes.
sense? So I'm gonna skip it. I'm just gonna highlight it as yellow. Then we go to number 2. What are they saying?
Receipt number 248 is for a check processed by Mbeta on 31 January 2.7. However, Mbeta recorded the check for 4.2 thousand, which was incorrect.
So when you say where's the mistake happening?
Mbeta.
In Better Stores, right? And who is in Better Stores?
Yeah. It is us.
It is us, right? So there's check number what? 248. All right. How much was that check supposed to be?
4.2. It says 4,200, but it was incorrect.
Yeah. So meaning to say, because remember on the creditor statement, it's reflecting. All right. It's reflecting there. But remember on our credit ledger for February, we will not show it on our side. We will not show it. Why is it that we are not showing it here? Because it had to do with the month of January. That's why on the ledger, it's not showing. But on this guy's side, on the side of the creditor himself or themselves, why they are showing it is because maybe the amount reflected in the month of February. Are we together? That's why it's showing there. Okay. But the correct amount is supposed to be the one from here, from the creditor statement. So meaning to say the 4 point, how much is it? 4 point what?
4.2.
It's an overstatement on our ledger. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So what are we supposed to do then?
We're supposed to add 1.8.
Right. We're supposed to add, right? Okay, let me read it again. Read the transaction again, young man.
No, so we're supposed to subtract. Subtract, sorry.
Yeah, because I'm surprised that we're supposed to add it. All right, let's read again.
We're supposed to subtract.
Wait, let me just read the transaction for me.
Receipt number 248 for a check processed by Mbete on 31 January 20.7.
Okay,
However, Mbete recorded the check for 4.2, which was incorrect.
So the check for 4.2 was incorrect, right?
Yes, so it was overcasted.
Yeah, with overcasted or overstated, right? So
yes.
what we're supposed to then do, because the only payment or the balance we are owing to this creditor was supposed to only be reduced by 2.4, but we reduced it by 4.2. So that difference, we're supposed to add it back. Are we together? Not to subtract it.
Yes.
So what you do, you go to the creditor's reconciliation statement, you come over there, and then you write receipt 248. Then you show the calculation, 4.2 minus 2.4, right? Which should give you 1.8. Are we together, young men?
Yes.
So this is how it's supposed to be. Notice we are adding it, not subtracting it. Why are we adding it? Because it's increasing what we are owing to this guy. Because we'd subtracted more than what we were supposed to subtract. So we had overcasted. Right. Let's go back to our info. So we are done with transaction number 2. What do? We highlight it in yellow.
I think I'm confused right now because you said we're adding it on our side or the creditor's side.
No, on our business side. The creditors recorded the right amount. The creditors recorded this amount there.
Yes.
So receipt number 48, it's on the statement of account from our creditor. They recorded the correct amount of 2.4. So the correct amount of the payment, it's supposed to be 2.4. But then we on our side,
we recorded
to 4.2. So we, on our side, we recorded more than what we were supposed to have recorded. But remember, this is a payment. So what payments do when we are dealing with creditors? Payments reduces the balance we are owing to the creditor. So if I'm to take you here, look at this. This is what we are owing this guy, 11,275. So if we are saying we paid the creditor 2.4, all right, 11,275 minus 2.4. The difference you get, which will be 8,000 something, is what you're supposed to be owing. But now, instead of recording 2.4, we recorded 4.2. So that's why we are saying we have to add back that difference, because it's not supposed to be, I mean, the balance we are owing to the creditor was not supposed to have been reduced by this. So we have to add back that difference. Is it making sense? Or you're still confused, and maybe I can explain it differently?
Yeah, I'm still confused.
All right, let me explain it again. So here's what's happening. Let me take you to the whiteboard and try to emphasize this. So picture it like this, ne? This is the business, right? This is the creditor. So the business is saying we are owing the creditor 20,000, ne? That is our balance somewhere there. I'm just trying to illustrate, ne? And then let's say somewhere on the 1st of March, okay? So maybe this is the 1st of March, maybe somewhere on the 5th of March, all right, we paid. Maybe using a check. So the actual payment, maybe that we paid, I'm just indicating this as an example. Let's say we paid the creditor 5K, ne? But what we record here, we record 15,000. All right. So now we are saying what we are owing the creditor at the end of the day, we are owing the creditor 5,000. Are we together so far? But then the creditor on their side, because they would have received the proof of payment. So yeah, probably maybe your balance according to the creditor, it's saying 25K. The payment that they received from you, they correctly recorded as 5,000 rands. Can you see what is happening? And then of course, maybe at the end of the month, your balance is supposed to be 20,000, something like this. So then the adjustment comes and they say, no. What you have recorded as your payment to the creditor according to your books as a business is wrong. So this 15,000, it's wrong. It's not supposed to be 15. You were supposed to have recorded 5,000 rands. So what happened here? It means there's an error that you made as a business of recording more than what you were supposed to have recorded. So in this case, you subtracted more than what you were supposed to have subtracted. Okay? By how much? By the difference of 10,000. So what are we supposed to do? Since we subtracted 10,000 rands extra, what are we supposed to do to that with that 10,000 rands extra that we had subtracted? We are supposed to simply add it back. Is it making sense? Hello?
Yes.
So it's the same scenario that we are having. So the business was having a situation like that, similar to what I've just explained, whereby I don't know whatever balance they were having, but what happened is that there's a payment that we did according to check number according to receipt number 248. The creditor recorded the right amount, 2.4, which will be reducing our balance. Tina on our side, we subtracted 4.2. But this 4.2 that we have subtracted, it's not supposed to be like that. So we were supposed to have subtracted only 2.4. So what are we supposed to do when we correct the error here? When we're supposed to correct the error, we are supposed to add back the extra 1.8 that we had subtracted. Does it make sense now? Taba?
I'm still trying to process.
Okay. So you're supposed to simply add it back. think about it this way. Akiri, when you pay a creditor, it's reducing what you're owing to them. Are we together on that one?
If you are?
Like when we are paying our creditor as a business, remember, as a business,
Our
right?
amount is reducing, yes.
Right? Look at it this way. And then, of course, there's a creditor there. Us as a business, let's say we are owing the creditor 20,000. So whenever we pay, all right, using a check or an EFT, whatever the case might be, we are together to agree that if we pay 5,000 to the creditor, whenever a payment is issued to the creditor, it's a minus on the ledger, according to the business. We are supposed to be reducing this 20,000 balance. Do you agree with me there?
Yes.
Same thing if maybe we paid using EFT 2.5. This is supposed to be reducing this balance. Maybe the creditor is saying, no. What you owe to me is 25, not 20,000. But whenever you did your payments, yeah, we recorded them as well. 5,000. All right. And then it comes to this one, the EFT. Akiritina, we have already recorded an EFT payment of 2.5. But what you actually paid to this creditor, according to your bank statement, it's saying, no, you only paid them 1,000 rands. You're following what is happening, right, Tawa?
Yes.
So you only paid 1,000 rands to this guy, to the creditor. But what you recorded when that is the business, instead of recording 1,000, you only recorded how much? 2.5.
2.5.
So in other words, you are reducing your balance by more than what you are supposed to be reducing it with. So instead of reducing it by 1,000, you are reducing it with 2.5, which is not supposed to be like that. So this balance will be going down by another extra 1.5, but it's not supposed to be going down by an extra 1.5. Where is the extra 1.5 coming from? So when I do the correction, it will be just basically the difference between this value minus what we were supposed to have paid, which is 1,000. Are we together?
Yes, and then we're going to add it.
And then we simply add that 1.5 so that we can adjust the balance the way it was supposed to be. So we are simply saying, no, let's correct the error we have done of reducing this balance by 2.5. We were only supposed to reduce it by 1,000. So we ended up reducing it by an extra 1.5. So that extra 1.5 that we used to reduce this balance, we have to bring it back. That's why we are adding it there.
Yes.
Is it making sense now?
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, we're left with a minute. We're going to connect again for session C. I think that will be the last one. And then we are done. Are we together?
Yes.
All right. So you're going to connect with the same link, né? And then we continue.